Hi, everybody, and welcome to this broadcast, my live broadcast today. My name is Shakwe Tuya. For those who are tuning in for the first time, welcome. Thank you so much for taking your time to tune in today. So, this is day 2 of the 26 days that I'm going to be doing live videos every day to contribute to something positive in your life. So, welcome. I will start and others will join us as we continue. So to begin, let me start with a story about an office boy. So there once lived a man who was jobless and went to Microsoft to look for a job. So the HR manager gave him his first test. The test was clean the floor. So he passed the test with flying colors. So he was hired and was asked to provide an email address so that the HR manager can send paperwork. The man replied, "I don't have any email address," to which the HR manager said, "You are not, you can't be hired. If you don't have an email address, you don't exist." Therefore, the offer letter was rescinded. So the man went devastated, frustrated, left the Microsoft office, and he only had $10 in his pocket, or $10 remaining. So he was so broke. So he thought deeply of what he was going to do with the $10, because that's the only money he had. So he decided to go to the supermarket to buy a crate of tomatoes and sell it door to door. So he sold it, he went door to door and sold it, and the first day he doubled his capital. So he went home, the next day he decided to do the same. So $20 now, uses all the capital, buys tomatoes, and then does the same, goes to door, and then he doubles his capital. So now he has $40. So the story goes on: $40, $80, 160, and goes on. So he starts from a crate and then goes to a cart, and then eventually this man is becoming a supplier, has trucks, loads of trucks, started with one truck and has a truck of supplying to the supermarkets now. So 5 years later, he's become so big and he's a major player. So what he does is he goes to an insurance company because he's planning his estate. He has so much money now, he's setting his things in order. So the insurance guy gets the insurance policy and everything ready to be signed, and then he asks the guy, this man, "What is your email address so that I can send you all this information?" To which he replies again, "I don't have an email address." So the insurance broker ponders and say, "Oh my goodness, you're so successful. Can you imagine how much more successful or what you would be if you had an email address?" To which the man thought for a minute and responded to the man by saying, "I'd be an office boy at Microsoft." Pretty neat story, right? So I want to talk to you about starting with what you have. So sometimes you delay starting something because you think you have nothing, or maybe you think you still have doubt, you still have fear, you don't have any experience, you have nothing, you have insecurity. So for anyone who thinks that they have nothing to offer, or maybe, "Oh, I'll wait until I'm not insecure," start with what you have. Sometimes when you hear that statement, you think I am talking about what you have as in something positive. Start with something like, if you have insecurity, let that insecurity drive you. Let it be your drive. If you're insecure, let it not. If you're insecure, that means you're not going to be sleeping. You are going to let that insecurity drive you. I'll tell you a story of CEO or co-founder of Google. The way he founded Google was he had been admitted to Princeton University, and he didn't believe that he had made it to Princeton, so he was always so anxious, thinking that there was a computer error that picked him to become a student in Princeton. And because of that anxiety, he worked so hard on plan B because he thought maybe someday they're gonna notice that, he wasn't supposed to be in Princeton. So one day he had a nightmare, or what he now calls a dream, that he had downloaded the entire internet, and then he pursued that dream. So he went to his teacher and asked him to start working on that project of downloading the entire internet. And that's how Google started. That's how Google started, because of his anxiety of feeling so insecure. So you think you have nothing, you have insecurity, let that be your drive. You have doubt, doubt is not a bad thing. Ask questions. Perhaps instead of saying, oh, I doubt, but then redirect your doubt. So doubt, as always, ask, can this be done? And then probably they conclude by saying, no, it cannot be done. So perhaps you can ask the question, is this really possible? Let me find out. Follow up with, let me find out if this is possible, and start with that. If you're fearful, let that fear drive you. If you've listened to Will Smith, he talks about being driven by fear, that he's always thinking that I got to address whatever that I fear most. So if you are a fearful person, start with what you have. You have fear, let that be your drive. You have no experience, that's the right person. That's the right time to start. I was listening to Oprah Winfrey conversation one time, and this is what she said, that if had she known how difficult it was to start her own network, she would have never embarked on it. So sometimes inexperience can really help you. So you have inexperience, find out, put your feet in. So you have a platform, you can't say, oh my God, I don't have money. I think that's the biggest excuse. You have a free platform in Facebook. Whatever you need to do, start with what you have. Be a middleman. If you don't have money, be the middleman. Volunteer. If you don't have experience, volunteer. Volunteer in whatever field that you need to learn from. They say genius is 99% inspiration and 1% perspiration. So it's not really how smart you are, it is how consistent you are. I have shared this before, that Walmart, one of the leading retail store here, is not the best store, but they are consistent with their hours, with their prices. Walmart is just there. If I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm not thinking, oh my God, which best store am I going to? I'm thinking functionality, who is open. And I go to Walmart because they are consistent, not because they are the best. So you don't have to be the best to begin. You just need to be consistent and have the drive. So I want to close this by even telling you a story of what Apostle Paul wrote to the Philippians 3:12, said, I haven't learned all I should. I don't mean to say that I'm perfect. I haven't learned everything yet. I work towards that day. I will finally be all that Christ saved me for. So this is someone who wrote almost half of the New Testament, saying, I haven't learned all that I should. So you don't have to know everything. This is someone saying, I don't mean to say I'm perfect. You don't have to be perfect. But I haven't learned everything yet, but I work towards the day that I will finally be everything that Christ called me to be. So for you too, I challenge you to put your feet wet somewhere. Get started with what you have. Just like Paul, you don't have to have it all. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have everything, but you work towards everything that Christ called you to be, starting with what you have. So thank you so much for tuning in today, day 2. See you tomorrow. God bless you.